Welcome to the Royal Writ, a lane-based deck builder that will have you commanding your cards to battle the enemy, creating unforgettable stories in this whimsical medieval roguelike deck builder. And with any good game, we start our journey in the shop. At the beginning of every game, we get to decide what card we want to purchase with our very limited funds. In this case, it's Zella, the skillful flutist, where every turn it is the only card in combat, we will receive 3 gold and 3+ brief power to a random card in our hand. This is the battle map where each tile could have a buff or an obstacle, like the inconspicuous trap inflicting our cards with frail, halving their total power. So let's place down Zella and start our first attack round. There are 2 main types of cards in this game, power cards and multiplier cards, basically adding and multiplication. At the top of every column there is a power multiplier, adding +2, 3 or 4 to every card as they advance through the map. As Zella's special ability is to add temporary power to our cards, while gaining gold while he is the only card on the battlefield, let's march him through just by himself. And when it seems to be a bit too dangerous, it's time to send his backup. And we win this battle with a magnificent 14 × 5, meaning we beat his 30 health with our 70 power. Now that we've defeated our first enemy, it's time to decide which location we would like to head to next. And in this case, I chose the Wonder Wheel. A wonderful wheel that would give us anything from damaging our cards to giving us even more cards. And in this case, we doubled our gold, which is amazing for our gold strat. Next, I chose to do a bit of horse betting, where we can bid for different amounts of promotion cards, which will make our cards stronger, which we can now demonstrate in the next battle. But there's one thing we need to watch out for, and it is these pits. If one of our cards falls into this pit, it's game over for that card, unless we have a flying card or some food to bring them back to life. And in this game, if you lose a card, that card is gone for the whole run. Skipping forwards, we are presented to choose our first piece of equipment for our cards. In this case, I chose the flying card, which will allow us to fly over those deadly pits. And speaking of those pits, I miscalculated my power, which means unfortunately, we've run out of time for old Zella. But hey, on the plus side, at least we get to choose a relic to keep. And I chose the Cloven Sword, which means our frail cards will deal 75% damage now instead of 50. After defeating the enemy, it's time to move on and receive a gift. And for this one, I chose Margrave, our lovely hippo, as I am in dire need for some multiplication cards. And in the next battle, I unfortunately damaged a couple of my cards, giving them the frail, but luckily they deal 75% damage instead of the 50 with our lovely relic. Later on, it's time to go to the shop, where it's time to spend all of the gold we've been earning. And it's time to buy some new cards. And one of the new cards we bought was the lovely Ant, which is a great card which synergizes with other ants, providing an exponential growth the more ants we have. Just like this run from later in the game, where we get unlimited ants. After leaving the shop, it's time to head over to the dentist, where we can trade some of our cards' teeth for some extra relics. Which leads us to the tactician board, which we get before fighting any major boss. This allows us to plan and strategize, allowing us to change the modifier for the columns from just giving power to multiplying our cards. Here we can also upgrade our lanes and increase our deck size. And I'm feeling pretty good about our small army, so let's head over to fight Robert Hawker for our first boss encounter. Every boss we fight in the Royal Writ will have their own unique powers. In this case, Robert Hawker every 2 turns will shoot the first column, damaging our units and potentially killing them. But thankfully Borka has a total fixed power of 12, so he can't really take damage. And after adding some more equipment to our cards, we can defeat our first boss. And this is just an extremely brief look into the Royal Writ, and I highly encourage you to play the demo, as there is so much more in the first and second acts of the Royal Writ.